Yeah, who knows? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Bill Smith on behalf of Auction.com. I want to welcome you to our Ocean, Middlesex, and Monmouth County pre-auction review. These are for assets coming to sale next week. Unfortunately, we have a short list for you. We're going to do about 12 to 15 assets today. As you know, the holiday is Monday. For those of you who don't know, it's Memorial Day. And of course, some of the sales from Monday have been adjourned. And will be backed up the next couple of weeks. But I do have members of my expert panel here. Substituting for Luis will be the great Dave Wine trial. And we expect Joe to come in. He had a case he had to go to court. He should be here shortly. So without further ado, we're going to get started. Once again, you can find out information about our free online events at auction.com/event calendar. And Dave and I will also be here next Thursday with another Lunch and Learn, one of our successful Lunch and Learns Luis and I have been doing. Last month, we had the great Nick here. In June, we're going to have Jim. And again, it's a great service. We'll be doing financing alternatives for sheriff sales along with our overview next Thursday. If you'd like to join us then, please contact Cecilia Williams at 201-744-3105. Have I said enough commercials already? Good job. Let's go. Dave.
I want to thank Culture Estate for having us here today. Unfortunately, Lewis can't be with us today. More important things like his daughter's graduation. Culture Estate.
First grade? Second grade?
I think
third?
Culture Estate is a full service real estate brokerage that really focuses on not just buying and selling homes, but really focuses on investors. So if you have interest in investing, whether you're in New Jersey or other states, they have a great mentorship program. So reach out to them. Reach out to Luis at Luis, L-U-I-S, at culture.estate. Here's Joe Gachko. I'm David Weintraub. I work with First Equity Funding based in Seagirt, New Jersey. We are hard money lenders, but we are also have a conventional arm as well. We underwrite our own loans, so we can be very creative in the types of loans that we do. You can reach out to us at fpfunding.com as First Equity Funding. And now
Nick Timpanaro, Fortune Title Agency. We do all the title for it. We are specialists with foreclosures. So when you bid, make sure you get it to us so we can check to make sure what you're getting is clear.
The #1 title agency in the state, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I know I'm #1. People have told me that. They gave me a sign. And we'll go over to Jersey Strong.
Check your taxes.
Hi, I'm Jim Sharp from Jersey Strong Construction. We are a full-service construction company. We handle home improvements. We mostly deal with investors, doing rehabs and flips.
Hi, my name is Joe Gachko. I'm an attorney in Westfield, New Jersey. I've been practicing 35 years. My practice area is mainly real estate, all types, commercial, residential, distressed property, sheriff sales, short sales. And hopefully you'll get some answers today to some questions you might have. Okay, let's get started.
Somebody's bell ringing. Yeah, turn it off, please. Could you put it on vibrate, sir? Thank you.
It's on vibrate.
Okay. Well, you're worldwide now. We don't need any.
It didn't even go, maybe it went bing. I don't know. I'm sorry. I apologize for the bing on my phone.
Our first property is in Middlesex County. It's 79 All Way in Edison, New Jersey. It's a single family home. This is a 2-family duplex, 5-bed, 4-bath, garage parking available, central air and forced hot air in both units, located near Highland Park High School that has an 8-star school rating. Taxes $3,596. I'm actually surprised to see them. The as-is price is $178,750. The lending side for us, we would lend anywhere between $143,000 and $157,000 on purchase. You have $50,000 calculated for your rehab budget. All told, we lend about $192,500 for a property like this.
Excellent. So the title on this shows that we have a $300,000 loan from 2007. What I'm seeing here is that it went into default in 2008. They might have cured because their next LP is 2016. Hopefully it did cure and they went back into a new docket. It's something you need to be careful of looking at this property in the title aspect, because if it's the same docket as the 2008 docket, the LP only gives protection for 5 years to get the final judgment, showing that they actually put another LP in 2016. There's a gap there. So it's just something to be aware of. So make sure you order your title after your bid, and make sure you check your taxes, because that's the most important thing. It's the possibility they weren't paying them, and there could be a tax sale certificate. And there could be one from 2008. That would be big.
For the novices, could you just let them know what LP means?
LP means list pendants, which is, it's a notice of suit, tells the world that they're.
Hold on 1 second.
Where's the breath? Okay. I will come back. Did you get his? Tell him what an LP is.
I'll start a little bit.
No, you didn't.
Will we fell off?
All right.
Sorry for the interruption, ladies and gentlemen. We do have these interruptions sometimes with the technology. We are perfecting it though. I'm sorry, I left with Nick asking him just to give the definition of LP on the description he was giving.
LP means list pendants. The list pendants is a notice of suit. That's a document that prevents an additional lien from being attached to the property. So whatever these people are in foreclosure, if they're not paying their mortgage, they're obviously probably not paying something else. So there could be another lien that comes up. So once the list pendants is filed, if another lien comes against that person, it can't attach to the house. And it gives us a cutoff date to deal with it. And as I was saying with this one, I see one in 2008, but then I see one in 2016. That's an 8-year gap. If it's the same docket, so the same suit, the first LP is only good for 5 years to get to the final judgment. The second LP in 2016, if it's the same docket, you have a gap period there. So that would open up to any judgments that might have come in. So we have to be careful. So just again, make sure you order your title. You can order it pre, or you can order it after you get the bid. But if we find anything, we do assist in trying to get it clear through the foreclosure attorneys, because we do work for you when we do it. And just make sure you check all your taxes again. I can't say that enough, and I will say it every time. Do we have anything?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, the exterior of this house we found has vinyl siding, which was in average condition. The windows look to be older vinyl replacements in average condition. The roof is an older 3-tab roof, which looks to be used. Looks like it went to its useful lifespan and may need to be replaced. There was no other visible signs of repairs needed to the exterior.
Next.
Okay, next. Joe is the next. 36 Lewis Street.
Our next property is 36 Lewis Street in Carteret, New Jersey. This is also Middlesex County. It's a single-family home.
I want you to do the fourth one, and you can.
This is
Does it?
it does.
Oh,
say
it is,
two-family.
sorry. It is a two-family home. The as-is price in this house is $200,000 with a repair estimate of $50,000, an after-repair value of close to $300,000. Rent range $2,400 in this area. Return on investment potentially 20% with a cap rate of around 10%. From a lending perspective, we would lend anywhere between $160,000 and $180,000 on the purchase with a rehab budget of $50,000 for a total loan amount of around $210,000.
Okay, this was a $220,000 loan from 2004. So they're into this loan for quite a while. So I would imagine the judgment would not be as high as we would think. The list pendants was filed in 2016 and refiled in 2017, which is fine. They probably had to make an amendment. That's why they refiled it. Taxes are $5,400. That's about it. It looks like a good deal to me.
The exterior of this house is wood shake siding, which was in above average condition. Just needs some minor repairs and painting. The windows were older wood and should be upgraded to new energy efficient vinyl replacements. The roof is in poor condition, needs to be replaced. There's a metal awning on the house which was damaged, that needs to be removed or replaced. And the driveway is macadam and just needs to be recoated. Otherwise, everything's in good shape.
Yeah, if you notice, there's been a lot of activity in that section of Middlesex County lately. I've noticed, people paying 20 to 40% more in Carteret, which, was like the elbow of the county at one time.
Yeah, and these last two that we looked at, they were both multiple families. So you're going to be subject to possible tenant leases.
Right.
Whether you need to evict them or not would depend on what the lease is and what you're going to do with the property. But if you're buying them for investment properties, it's good if there's a lease because you got rents coming in.
They're occupied too.
And of course, right there on the northeast corridor, 95 for
good access.
All right.
Next.
Our next property is 12 Galewood Drive in Homedale, New Jersey, which is in Monmouth County. This is a single family property, 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,100 square feet, driveway parking available near the Indian Hill Homedale High School, another with an 8-star rating. Property built in the early 60s, taxes estimated around $10,000. The as-is price in this property is $375,000 with a repair estimate of $70,000. The after repair value of this property could be close to $540,000, and rental of a house like this would be around $3,800, return on investment of 21%. From a lending perspective, we would lend anywhere between $308,000 to $335,000 for the purchase on this property. The $70,000 repair estimate falls under a total loan amount of $378,000 for property like this.
Jim, is that a ranch or a split level with a garage?
It's actually a split level there.
All right, as far as the title goes, the mortgage was in 2005 for $250,000. That seems to be the only lead on it, and the LP was filed in 2017. So they've been paying this mortgage for a while, from what I'm seeing here. So this looks like a pretty good deal. Judgment would probably be low, and probably a lot of bids going out. The taxes are $10,600, and again, just be leery of the taxes because if they weren't paying them, or they're being paid by a third-party lien holder, your taxes could be $20,000, $30,000. And make sure you check your utilities as well. That's your water and sewer, which are all part of your taxes.
Exterior of the house is found to be in above average condition with a newer timberline type roof. The siding is wood shaped and in good condition. The windows look to be older vinyl replacements, and there was no visible signs of repairs needed to the exterior.
Also, the house was built in '63, so you probably wouldn't run into an underground oil tank situation on this one. But just remember, when you buy these homes, you buy them in the condition that you find them, which means if there's an underground septic tank, an underground oil tank, you buy that with the tank, and your responsibility is to either clean it up. If you go to buy it and they want it to be removed, you might have to remove it. So you just got to remember that. Also, when Nick says to check on your taxes, just call the collector and ask the tax collector if there are any outstanding tax liens or what the taxes are due on the property. Next.
Our next property is in Ocean County. It's 382 Spruce Drive in Brick, New Jersey. This is another single-family residence. That is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, garage parking available, obviously. It's a large, over 1,800 square foot, bi-level home, in-ground pool, newly renovated kitchen, new counters, and new appliances. And sometimes, surprisingly, you would think a pool is an enhancement on a property, but could actually be not so much of an enhancement. The as-is price range is $247,500 with a repair estimate of $52,500. The after repair value could be up to $365,000 with a rent going up to $2,600, return on your investment of possibly 22%, and a cap rate of about 8.9%. From a lender perspective, we would lend estimated $205,000 to $220,000 for the purchase of this property. The full guesstimated rehab budget of $52,500 for a total loan amount of $255,000.
On the title end of it, the mortgage is a 2015 mortgage for $266. LP went on, or list pendants went on December of 2016. So I mean, most of this loan is due. Taxes are almost $6,000. I would check that as well because this looks like it might have been a equity prime mortgage, but FHA is covering it for 30 years, so they shouldn't have been paying the taxes. Hopefully they kept on paying them. That's it.
All right, the exterior of this house is vinyl siding that was in above average condition. The bottom half of the front is brick in above average condition. Windows look to be recent vinyl replacements. The roof is an older 3-tab, which was in average condition, and there was no visible signs of repairs needed on the exterior.
You have to be careful of some of these properties in brick. They might be subject to an association, and it could be association dues that are outstanding as well. So I don't know if that's something you need to consider that may be outstanding.
Why is that?
Because a lot of them are built, they were built by certain buildings and they have associations. I just find it that way.
Yeah, I've seen that before. That's why I asked. Yeah, but it just.
And just note that a homeowners association is very different than a condo association. It's not recorded. So, yeah, they'll still hear us, even though he's recording what we're saying to the cloud for them to listen. But homeowners association is very different than a condo association. It doesn't fall into the condo lien laws. Whereas if it's a condominium and they put a lien on it, that can be resolved through the foreclosure. You'll have to pay 6 months of dues. But a homeowners association, you're paying them whatever they want most of the time. They're not going to be cut off with a foreclosure. Just a note.
Yeah. Our next property is in Ocean County as well, a little further south. 182 Westchester Drive in Little Egg Harbor Township. It is a townhouse, 2-bed, 1-bath, a little short of 900 square feet, parking lot. Parking available, property built in 1989, located near schools, houses of worship, and parks, etc. Taxes a little under $2,100. The as-is price on this property is $75,400 with a guesstimated repair estimate of $20,000. The after repair could fetch around $116,000. We lend anywhere between $60,000 to $65,000. of the purchase price, the full repair estimate of $20,000 based on an after repair value of around a total loan amount of around $81,000.
You're not really showing us anything on the title. It's kind of like bothers me. Except that there is a homeowners association that they estimate at $120 a month, so it's something to think about. And in these type of, it might not be a condo, it might be what they call a PUD, which is like a planned unit development. That's where they get the homeowners association. Check their bylaws. Sometimes there's restrictions on renting these properties. And that's about all I can say about this.
The exterior of the condo complex was in average condition, and the complex itself was well maintained grounds.
Yes.
Okay.
The next property is 405 7th Street in Ocean County in Toms River. This is another single family home. It is a 3-bedroom, 1-bath with garage parking available nearby to the bay and shopping areas. Newer timberland roof and carpeting, taxes $3,050. The as-is price on this property is $172,250 with a repair estimate of $45,000. The ARV, the repaired price range would be around $265,000. You would expect a rent range of around $1,800 on a property like this for a return on investment of 22% and a cap rate of just over 9%, which is very good. From a lending perspective, we would lend between $132,000 to $145,000 on the purchase of this property, with the full rehab of $45,000 for a total loan amount on a property like this of $185,000.
Not bad. The loan on this was in 2014 for $207. LP was filed in March of 2017. Taxes are just over $3,000. Looks like a pretty good deal if you could pick it up for the as-is price. Question would be on if the bank is willing to give it up lower than what their loan is. Other than that, check your taxes, make sure they're all paid up.
Okay, overall, the house is found to be in a well-maintained above average condition. The roof is a newer timberline type roof. The siding is vinyl. Windows look to be recent vinyl replacements. The property can use some TLC itself, but there was no visible signs of repairs needed.
Okay, next.
The next property is Ocean County as well. It's 104 Eileen Lane in Manahawkin, New Jersey. This is a single family residence, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 960 square feet with garage parking available. Property built in 1978, located near Mill Creek Park. Taxes $6,347. The as-is price on this property is $212,000 with a repair estimate of $50,000. You could potentially get up to $320,000 on a resale of this property. The rent range in this area would be $2,400 a month with a return on investment on a flip of 22% and a cap rate of just over 9%. From a lending perspective, we would lend anywhere between $170,000 to $180,000 to purchase this property with a full rehab amount of $50,000 with a total loan amount of $224,000.
Okay, that's nice. And title-wise, the mortgage is $300,000 from 206. Looks like they defaulted in 2016. That's when the list pendants was filed. Taxes on this are $6,300. I mean, even though the loan value at 2006 was $300,000, and we're looking at the as-is of 212. 2006, the market at that time was high, but that was the start of the recession when we started to fall apart and come down. So prices of what the value is then compared to now, you're still lower than what it was at that time. So don't let the numbers scare you. Have an idea of what you're willing to go for and bid, and go prepared for that. hopefully the banks will let you have it. And make sure you check your taxes, 6,300. If they haven't been paying since 2016, it could be a lot.
Okay, overall, the house is found to be in average condition, has wood shake siding, and was in decent condition. The roof is in average condition. The property is located on a bay in a beach haven area, and there was no visible signs or repairs needed.
It might be a nice spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks good, cute little house. I'll say most of these ones that we're looking at look like they're like really nice houses.
Yes.
Nice job picking these out.
Actually, I'm not gonna take credit for it today, but I trained Syed to do it right this time, and thank you.
Good looking property.
Next property is in Ocean County, which is 510 Dugout Road in Lenoka Harbor, New Jersey. This is a single family residence, 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,753 square foot house, car attached garage, located near parks, veterinary clinic, and schools, vinyl in-ground pool, taxes $14,713. The as-is price range in this property is $282,750 with a repair estimate of $75,000, which looking at it could be high, but we never know until we're inside. The after repair value on this property could be around $435,000. We would land on a property like this that's selling the as-is value to be $283,000, we'll call it, anywhere between $227,000 and $247,000, with a full repair estimate of $75,000, for a total loan amount of around $305,000.
Excellent. It's a pretty looking house.
Yeah.
Well, the LP on this was filed in 2015, so that's 3 years ago. We're gonna be careful on the taxes on this one, because at 14.7, if there are 3 years worth of taxes, then that would be a lot. Looks like the first mortgage was for 322.7 in 2003. This title's driving me crazy because it looks like they had a judgment in 2006, but then they filed a new LP in 2015. He must have reinstated and caught up. And then I do have a second loan on this for $202,000 in 2005. So that would be wiped out during the foreclosure. This looks like a good deal to go with. You might get that second mortgage bidding in as well. Taxes, just be careful of them. Again, 14.7. That's like over $30,000 if it's 3 years that they haven't paid.
It's like $44,000.
Well, over 40. Okay. Put your calculator out.
And basically, the house
I'm
and
not
property.
on that.
What are you, a money man? Good.
Both the house and property were both found in excellent condition, well maintained. As was the neighborhood, it was all well maintained properties. There was no visible signs of repairs needed.
Our next property, also Ocean County, 813 Oak Street in Lakehurst Borough, New Jersey. This is a single family residence, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, driveway parking available, new kitchen, new hardwood floors, newer baths, newer heater, finished basement, and much more. Taxes, $4,200. The as-is price on this property, $92,500, with a repair estimate of $22,500. You could potentially get $140,000 after repair value on this. Rent in this area around $1,200 a month. If you flip this property, your return on investment could be an estimated 22%. And if you're going to buy and hold this property, estimated cap rate around 8.5% as well. From a lending perspective, we would lend anywhere between $75,000 and $83,000, $84,000 for the purchase of this property, with a full rehab budget of $22,500 for a total loan amount of $98,000 to $100,000.
Title-wise, we got a 2007 purchase money mortgage for $156,000. Looks like it might have originally fell into foreclosure in 2011. and we're still 9,000 to be taken care of through the foreclosure. Your taxes are 4,200 just about. Looks like it's a good little deal to go through. It's an older mortgage. Probably, hopefully, they've got a lot done. I don't know why it takes so long for some of these to go through foreclosure, but we were still closing files that started in 2009. So it's just, we have just to make sure everything's right. So yes, definitely order your title when you get your bid, because you should insure your investment. That's my advice. You want to make sure it's clear and clean. And check the taxes on everything always.
New Jersey's making sure everything's right.
Yes.
All right, well, yeah, this one's a good example. You can't tell the book by its cover, because as the other report shows, all the inside's new, and the outside was totally opposite. The outside has siding on it in fair condition, needs a lot of painting and some repairs. The windows look to be older, they should be replaced with new energy efficient. And the roof is an old 3 tab that looks like it needs to be replaced. That's it.
Okay. Next.
All your repairs on the outside, that's the stuff.
Our next property in Ocean County is 910 Center Street in Lacey Township. Single family residence, 4-bedroom, 2-bath. This custom home needs some TLC, short sale subject approval, close to lakes and Garden State Parkway for easy commuting. Taxes $4,143. The as-is value of this property is around $133,250 with a repair estimate of $37,500. The repaired value of this property estimated to be $205,000 with a rent range of $1,600. If you flip this property, you can expect to make an estimated 20% return, and the cap rate on a property like this for buy and hold around 9.4%. From a lending perspective, we would give around $106,000 to $118,000 of the as-is value, a full rehab budget of $37,500, and a total loan amount of just over $140,000.
Excellent. So this LP was filed in 2017. When I'm looking at the report here, it tells me that it had a foreclosure judgment in 2009 and probably reinstated and got it back and went back into foreclosure. So I'd just be a little careful of this. And seeing these solar panels, just to note, if they had that installed, a lien does go on for the solar panels. It's really not a lien on the property, it's personal property with panels. So it's not something that's going to be cut out on the foreclosure. So if you do get this house and there was money owed on the solar panels, that company can come and take the panels, but you can also negotiate to finish off the contract and pay them.
Assuming they're in business.
Assuming they're in business.
But if you do buy that home, you take that subject to that contract. If they're supposed to be paid on a monthly basis, you're going to have to make those payments
for the next 15 years.
Whatever,
Whatever it is.
That's right. I just had a transaction where someone was going to buy a house with solar panels. They put it in 6 years ago, and it was 14 years left on the solar panel contract. So you got to be very careful with solar panels.
And question, is it best to negotiate that to be clean or free? You know, if the homeowners normally won't do it.
Well, the homeowner's gone, so you're going to
right. Yeah, you want to make sure though when you do that, that hey, when I'm selling this property, the CEO to get that's something that's coming down the road, because I can see this spiraling with their marketing.
That's not going to happen in the foreclosure.
Right.
Okay, the bank's not going to step up and pay the rest of the solar panel.
No.
They're going to sell the property.
What is it attached to the air to the?
No, it's a contract that.
You know what I'm saying? How they can, disconnect it from the house though.
Because it's really not part of the house and structure. Okay, like a bathroom, right? There are times you have propane tanks that are put in because maybe the gas is being run by propane. Well, that tank, even though it's part of a separate private thing, it's needed to run the house. So that is there. Although we can argue solar panels the same way if we're using them for the electric, but once it's disconnected, you have the public electric there anyway. The good thing with solar panels is if you're producing more electricity than you're using, it's kicking the excess back to PSE&G, and they need to come forward and give you money for it. So you can make money. I have a friend who has a lot of solar panels on his house. He makes about $20,000 a year just on the solar power that he's producing. So
Well, that's why we have you experts to explain that for those.
yeah, it has nothing to do with the title and nothing to do with the marketing. Just a side note that I happen to know about.
What, do you get credit from PSE&G?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he kicks back so much back into it. It's worth it.
All right.
Got a big house though.
Jersey.
All right, and then the construction board. This house has fiber cement siding, which was in the average conditions, it needs some minor repairs and painting. Some of the aluminum wrap on the soffits and rake ports were missing. They could use repair. The windows look to be older and could use to be upgraded. Let's see, the roof is a new timberline roof, obviously with solar panels. The house has solar panels. Front porch was in decent shape, and the retaining wall around it was also in decent shape, and the garage door needed to be replaced. That's it.
Yeah, this will sell probably Tuesday. What do you think, Dave? I think this should sell Tuesday.
Never know. You know what the bank wants.
And probably vacant too.
I know what the bank wants.
They can
Not the bank. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Our last property today, Ocean County as well, 96 Jefferson Avenue in Bayville, New Jersey. This is another single-family ranch, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, garage parking, oil tank above ground, which is better. New appliances, hardwood floors throughout. Property has a well. Taxes $4,293. The as-is price on this property is $130,000 with a repair estimate of $35,000. The repaired price range an estimated $200,000. You could expect to collect $1,500 a month on average in rent in this area. For if you flip the property, for a return on investment around 21%, and a cap rate for those for buying and holding of 8.6%. We would lend approximately $104,000 to $112,000 of the purchase price of this property, full rehab amount of $35,000, and a total loan amount based on the ARV of $200,000 of $140,000.
Yeah, nice. All right, so the list pendants on this was filed in 2016. The original mortgage was 2006 for $240,000, with a second mortgage of $45,000. Just remember, in 2006, real estate prices were high. So through the recession, the real estate is probably worth less than the amount of the judgment. So you probably get a good deal on this. Be careful. It went into foreclosure in 2013. It was rescinded and came back in 2016. So we just have to make sure they did the right thing when they were doing it. It looks good. The house looks nice. Taxes are $4,200.
And it's a ranch. That's popular.
It's a ranch. I noticed that it says property has well. So in a normal transaction, title company insists on having the well tested and the seller signing off. Doesn't happen with the bank. So you're taking it with the well. You got to hope that the well water is working and the pumps are working and everything's there. Could be an issue, could not be an issue. It's something to like keep in mind when you're purchasing these properties.
And then you have to call Jim Thorpe.
That's it, and Jim will fix that. Call me for the title. And I will say that when you do make these bids, you should, it's nice to pre-order some titles. It's what we do an investor's product for about $175. It tells you who owns the property, what liens are on the property. It does not tell you any about the taxes or any municipal liens that are on there unless they're recorded in the county, such as a tax sale certificate. But if you're only looking at one property like this and you want to get it, it makes sense to get the pre-order. And then once you're a successful bidder, give it back to us and we'll finish it up. If you don't want to do the pre-order, when you get the bid, order your title. You got 10 days for the foreclosed party to redeem before you have to pay your bid, the rest of your bid, without any penalties. So within the 10 days, we can tell you exactly what, if there is a issue with anything as far as even the taxes, but you know you're going to be subject to them.
I'm sorry, Nick, could you just, let our viewing public know that when you don't make this minimal investment, then you have to go see this guy, all right? And it's going to cost you a lot more money for, this consultation than you just spending a couple $100 to get this information that'll help you make a quality decision.
To make a good decision, it's always good to be prepared. The biggest thing is just please check your taxes before you even go in there. I mean, I've had people come in and they've like, I got the bid on the property. I'm like, woo, but there's just $35,000 tax lien. What do I do with that? Wasn't that taken care of? No, municipal liens are not taken care of. So it's the biggest thing you have to do. And definitely with some of the questions we have, one was asking, when should I get the insurance? As soon as you purchase the property, it's an investment you're making. You want to protect yourself. If there's an issue, we do fight to clear it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you 100%. I get a lot of questions from people as to whether they should purchase title insurance after they buy a property at a sheriff's sale. It's probably more important when you're buying a property at a sheriff's sale to buy title insurance than with any other purchase.
Yes.
And I have to tell you that as far as these type of properties, Nick's company is the #1 company to use. I don't use anyone else. They're the best. They know what they're doing. They know how to handle it. They know how to resolve issues. And I strongly urge you that if you're really looking to buy a property, spend the $200 with Nick. Let him do the judgment search.
Are you giving me money though?
And that plug.
Are you paying him for the plug?
Discuss the property with Nick prior to going in there.
Yes. No, I'm sorry, we interrupted our man of the month, Jim Tharp, in the middle of his presentation. I'm sorry, Jim, to distract Nick with my comment about the importance of purchasing this preliminary title.
Oh yeah, we didn't finish on the.
I'll throw you one more here.
That's it.
But basically, this house is in, overall, the house was in kind of an average condition. There was no visible signs of repair.
That's it?
We could
We could have cut you out on that one.
All right. Well, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's move to the best part of these events, our question and answer segment. All right. And Dave, you're going to lead, and we're going to go through these questions. We've got time tonight to answer all of the questions from our viewing audience on the World Wide Web.
All right.
I'll get these questions quick, but just real fast, you guys were just talking about choosing the right title company. People who have purchased their own, their own home before have used the title company, they're not all the same. They all don't understand the process. They all don't understand sheriff sale transactions and what it takes to get these loans closed. So if you're ever choosing a title company, be it Nick's or another, just make sure they deal with investors and investor properties and know what that's like. Because from a lender perspective, when we have to deal with title companies that don't know what they're doing, it's a nightmare and it slows down your process. And if you're purchasing a sheriff sale, every day literally will cost you money. So keep that in mind when you're choosing a title company before you start taking on properties like this from sheriff sale. Our first question is about a construction lien. I know you've heard about other types of liens, but what is a construction lien and how do I know if one exists on my property?
My goodness, for me. Okay. So you hired somebody to do some work, you got a contract, you didn't pay him. Ooh, shame on you. He puts on a notice of lien and a construction lien on the property to try to entice you to pay him. He has up to a year to enhance that into a state lien. If he doesn't, then usually there's a settlement, but they don't discharge him with the record. That's why they have a short lifespan. In a foreclosure matter, if there is one there, they get served as a lien holder. Being served as a lien holder, they have a right to come in and bid to collect. So they would pay the judgment just like any other bidder, and then they would try to sell it to get their money back out of it. So they can be removed through the foreclosure.
All right, next question. Should I be concerned if there is an oil tank on the property?
Well, you should always be concerned if there's an oil tank on the property. If it's above ground, if it's underground, you buy and sell the property. In most cases, you're going to have buyers that to be removed. Remove them if there's contamination. I've had some that are much higher, but that's an average. Most people will not buy a house today with an oil tank on the property. I will not allow my clients to buy a house with an oil tank, whether it's decommissioned or active. I want the tank out, and if the clients decide they want to buy it, they absolutely will sign something that I prepare saying that I advise them to have that tank removed. So the decision is ultimately the client's, but I always recommend that the tank come out because there's just too many issues that can arise at a later time.
Just a note, just remember, if there's an oil tank underground, it might not be contaminated and it might be running the house. But if you're going to pull it out, to change everything. Your programs the state has where they put out money because you're upgrading and cleaning that tank to get up. There's grant money available.
There isn't, Nick. It's gone.
It's gone. My son got it last year, so I thought we were in pretty good shape.
The times are changing.
Times are changing.
And definitely always hire someone to do a sweep of the ground before you tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you, as an investor, go to the county records to find title information?
You can, public information.
It's easier to call Nick.
It is easier to call me, but I will tell you, if you want to go to the county and look up something, feel free to do so. Most of the counties are electronic. Some of them you can even, just Google and find them. If you go into the county, there's title searchers who work in the county, who work for me and for other title companies, who we order and they send us the work. You can hire them directly. Just remember, they have no liability. Okay, so if they do a search and they need something, you can go yell at them all you want, but you probably only paid $100 for the search, and they can give you your $100 back. Me, if I'm insuring it and I'm setting it up, I'm on the hook for whatever it is up to the value of what you're spending on the property. That's the idea of the insurance policy. If you get the insurance for the $100,000 that you're spending on the property, and somewhere along the line after you have it, someone comes up and says, I have a $50,000 lien, wasn't divulged, we're going to pay that. We're going to pay up to the amount of the policy. And it's only we pay what the actual loss is to you. So it's a good thing to have. And yes, you can go to the county and you can look it up yourself.
All right, next question is probably for Joe. When someone's purchasing at an auction, just tell us about the differences between purchasing a vacant property versus a sheriff versus a occupied property. What type of scenario someone can run into?
No difference.
Go for it.
If the property is occupied and you buy it on a sheriff sale, you take subject to, if it's a tenant, to that tenant living in that property. You're going to have to find out whether that tenant's under a written lease or a month-to-month lease. If it's a written lease, then you have to wait until the written lease expires before you're going to be able to remove the tenant. If the tenant is a month-to-month, then if the tenant doesn't pay the rent on a monthly basis, once you talk to the tenant, you can either do one of a couple of things. You can do a cash payment and agree with the tenant that they will move out of the property and you'll pay them money to move. That's called the cash for move program, something like that. You can an eviction proceeding and have them removed, or you can send a notice of rent increase to the tenant and try to force them out by increasing their rent. It's a case-by-case basis. We have to look at it. If it's an owner that lives in the home, the owner's not allowed to stay there. You can file an eviction proceeding or file paperwork with the state of New Jersey to obtain what's called a writ of possession, and the sheriff will remove that. That's the difference between a tenant and an owner. Much easier if it's an owner.
Yes, we prefer them vacant.
Yes.
Yes.
This question is for Jim. How do I go about calculating for budget renovations? Is there any particular formula that I can use?
Well, a lot of these sheriff sales, you're looking at the outside of the house. And like I said before, you gotta watch out. What it looks like outside might not be what it's like inside. The inside might be perfectly brand new, and vice versa. So really should get a contractor. If you have a formula or something, you need to get a contractor out there and just get some rough prices. Every house is different, depends on the neighborhood. What's the neighborhood?
You can check to see if permits were pulled in the past
Yeah,
year
you
to see what was done to the house.
You can go down inside and check for permits. You gotta watch when you buy the house, if the basement's finished. You gotta make sure to finish a
Permits to that.
All right, this next question looks like it's for me. The question is, can you explain the basics of what somebody would need to do in order to get a hard money loan on one of these properties? A hard money loan, simply put, for those that don't know, is a short-term interest loan, usually 12 months in length, which is really an interest-only loan. For example, if you borrowed $100,000 at 12%, which is kind of the high number for us, each month you're paying $1,000. If you stay in the loan for 12 months, you're going to end up paying $12,000. So it behooves somebody to get out of a loan, in and out of the property as quickly as possible. You want to guesstimate that the total cost of the loan, you're going to need around anywhere between 20 and 30% of the funds on your own. That's going to cover your down payment. A lender will give you between 80 and 90% of the purchase, but you're going to need to come to the table with 10 to 20% of the purchase price. Nice work.
Nice
And
ability.
so you'll need about 25 to 30% of the total loan amount. Some lenders look at credit, some don't. Credit score per se, our credit limit is 575. Everything's on a case-by-case basis. So just factor in you'll need between 20 and 30% of the loan, some type of liquid asset to handle your end of the loan. And of course, there's going to have to be value in the property. Lenders don't want to take small properties. You might assume that, oh, this is a money. Well, it's not what he wants. So there's a good chance means actually the higher risk for the lender. So keep that in mind when you're talking to lenders. Next question is, can you get a loan amount for the amount due on the auction day? Can you get the full loan amount for the deposit? Every lender is different. With us, you probably have to bring your money to the table. You're 10 to 20% down at a sheriff's sale, and the lender's likely going to fund the rest. But you can get that money if somebody will give it to you. But there's no rule saying that you can't get that money. Lenders generally, a borrower will put down, every county is different, but generally New Jersey, 20% down. You bring 20% down to the sheriff, the lender comes in with the 80% and finishes the purchase on that.
I have a question just about that.
Sure.
So I put the 20% down. I think what they're looking is, so I put it down and now I have to complete my bid. Will you give me enough money after I already put my down to cover that 20%? So in other words, 100% financing on the sale. So I ran into a couple of hard money lenders that said they would do something like that, but I find it.
So you're saying
you still have to go to the 20%.
You're paying 20% down.
Right. So now, so it's a $100,000 bid.
Right.
I put 20,000 down. Right. I have to come back with 80. Right. I want you to lend me 100,000.
That's doable. People do that. You do get. Sometimes you can put 20,000 down, and a lender could say, "Oh, what if?" Like we had an example where I was giving someone. It just so happened it's not. This was the only time it happened, but he was getting 93% from us. So he put 20% down. We gave him the 13% back. Right. At close. Right. So that does happen. And there are lenders out there that do 100% financing on purchase. But
you do have to have your 20% to put down at sale.
Yes. If you're getting 100% financing, which is out there, have an expectation that you or someone in the LLC that you're with has the experience. They're not just going to give 100% to someone who's never done a flip before. Again, it's negotiable. A lender can, I use the word discriminate in a business sense. A lender can discriminate based on anything. They can say they don't like the weather that day. It's a business-to-business loan. You don't fit into a box that's necessarily, controlled and governed by the rules of the government. So they can decide to give you anything they want, 100%, 80%, 70%. They feel about you. Think of it as it's like a job interview. You're bringing a resume to the table. Look the part, have everything in order, convince the lender that you're worth the 90%, 100% purchase, but they will refund you back. Sometimes if you put 20% in auction, there are lenders that will give you that money and they'll get that back.
But they're also going to want a piece of the profit as well if they're going to take 100%.
Well, I mean, it is interest rate based.
Yes, well, interest rate, well, the rate, that 11% rate could turn into, 20 to 30%. I've seen or heard based on, you taking 100%. So again, be careful. It's a deal. It's, unique to every situation and the amount that you're also requesting. So beware, buyer beware. We're in a risky business, but you can be very successful. And working with these gentlemen here will allow you to do that. And you can work hard and smart with us. Any more questions?
Well, just last thing I want to add. There are sweet spots for buying properties in New Jersey, and that sweet spot is going to be anywhere between, after a fair value of $500,000 $1.5. When you get into that, you see those properties worth very strong. So just if you think deal, it may not be a deal to
right. So it's very important to have a strategy, have a plan. And again, my experts have just identified the sweet spot, ladies and gentlemen. So you got a number to look for now. Target market, figure out where you want to work, and call Nick, call Dave, and all right, call Joe Gashko too. All right. We like Joe. I just give him a hard time because he recently got married. And, he says he's been in the business, 35 years, and he looks younger than all of us, and I'm a little fan.
You saying I look old?
No, me and you are around the same age. Dog years, that is. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you guys for coming and participating in our pre-auction review. Again, these workshops are designed to help you make intelligent, smart purchases, third-party sales, sheriff sales here in New Jersey. We do these a month here at Culture Estate. We'll be back next month, but I would like to invite you to our next live event, which will be June 14th at the beautiful Ocean Place Hilton in Monmouth County, New Jersey. This will be an evening event, 6 p.m. Nick was complaining about the meals during the day, so now we had to have an evening event where he can have a full buffet. So again, we do offer refreshments. We will have a website overview with information about our platform. And of course, my expert panel will be there to discuss the offerings in Monmouth, Middlesex, and Ocean County. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, all summer long, we will be at different locations in Monmouth and Ocean and Atlantic counties, bringing you live auction.com one-on-one events. And the weeks after that, you can tune in and view these pre-auction reviews where we will review 20 to maybe 25 assets that are going to sell the next week. Once again, on behalf of auction.com, thank you. You guys want to give a closing before we go?
Sure. I want to thank Culture Estate for having us. Culture Estate is a full-service brokerage. You can reach out to them at culture.estate. There's no .com, culture.estate. You can reach out to Louis Leva, the broker of record, who not only sells homes the way everyone's used to, but he works with investors and he has programs that help people become better investors. So reach out to Louis Leva. I am David Weintraub. I work with First Equity Funding. We are a full-service lender of conventional and investment lending in New Jersey. We are based in New Jersey. You can reach out to us at fefunding.com. That's firstequityfunding.com. Our company alone has flipped over 100 homes and done conventional mortgages and modified and a variety of other things, so we understand the space quite well.
David just mentioned your lunch and learn next week before we move on.
Name, though.
Oh, that's all right. You're there.
Yes, the lunch and learn, yes, Thursday, May 31st, noon to 1 p.m. Auction.com. It's once again, you can just find us right here on the web.
Live event.
Live on the web.
30
to 1,
people.
May 31st.
They can come here.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, all right. You can come here and see it live. Limited seating, 30 attendees. You can reach out to me.
Cultural estates and such.
You reach out to culture.estate for more information.
There you go. My only thing is make sure you check your taxes. It's the most important thing you can do when you're bidding on these properties. Okay? Then call me.
I'm sorry, I just got a text, Nick. Yes, they want to see the hat. Your fans want, yes, and the glasses before we, okay, great.
Next.
I'm Jim Phelps from Jersey Shore Construction. We full service construction company. So there's everything from the basement to the roof. You go to we have our website, you can find us on our website, jerseyshore.com, and reach us at 908-720-2674. Or email is jerseyshore.cl@aol.com.
To close out today, I'm Joe Gachko, Gachko. I'm the most sane one in this whole room. You can reach me at josephgachko.com or just Google Joseph Gachko and you'll find me.
And I'm just trying to be on vacation all the time.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.